falling. That eye that's sitting offshore is actually where the weather is calm, and so what happens is that folks at Topsail Beach get the worst of the winds, and then the weather goes calm. The rain stops for a while, probably about 10-15 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, slow as it's moving, and then you get hit again. Folks in Wilmington, I know it has been a long night. The eye wall could be moving right over Wilmington here in the 5 to 6 o'clock hour. And Tara, we have been trying to make contact with our Madison Calvacari, who is in Wilmington.
Yeah,
we know she is safe.
She's been down there for several days monitoring the preparations and now obviously covering what's happening now. And Lee, you know, once this makes landfall, will it speed up or will this still continue to move very slowly?
It looks like it's going to continue to move slowly between now and Saturday. It just kind of meanders its way to the west and southwest, and eventually picks up speed toward the end of the weekend. But that entire time, it just pumps in a lot of rain. So in Wilmington, where our Madison Calvacari is, they're dealing with the strong winds, or about to feel the winds really pick up, but that's just getting started because the Wilmington area prepping for 20 to 30 inches of rain at least. And I believe we do have Madison now.
Yeah, well, let's check in now and see how she's doing. I know she's been out there for several days. Madison, I know that you've been out there all morning long. What are the conditions like where you are? I know the wall's about to hit. Can you kind of just set the scene for us?
Yeah, Tara, this is absolutely getting wild out here in Wilmington. We're told the eye wall of Florence is making its way to the New Hanover coast, and it should be at its full capacity during this next hour. And really in the last 20 to 30 minutes, we've just been pelted by rain. We're not even in a flood zone right now, and the water is at a standstill behind me. We're expecting these winds during that peak of this eye wall to reach over 90 miles per hour. And we're not even in a flood zone. Like I said, we're a couple miles away from the beach, so people here did not have to evacuate. And even in this shopping center, we're seeing things tied down and some sandbags, but really businesses here did not prepare like we were seeing in downtown Wilmington. I have not seen any boards, just a few sandbags, but the wind is just what's absolutely crazy. Right now, it's just reaching an excess of about 10 to 15 miles per hour, but it already feels absolutely insane out here, Tara. I can't even imagine what it's going to feel like in just a few minutes when we're at the peak of that eye wall. But we'll be checking back in with you guys every half hour this morning, so we will make sure to keep monitoring this. Tara, back to you.
Madison, before you go, I wanted to add just to check in with you. I mean, hopefully you're not seeing anyone else out in these conditions, right? It's just mainly news crews so far?
Yes, Tara, the only people we've seen out here have been news crews. There has been some law enforcement we saw kind of blocking off the area to get into Wrightsville Beach. And like I said, mandatory evacuations there. But I was reading reports online from law enforcement Twitter that says about a dozen people chose to stay on the island in Wrightsville. So we're hoping for the best for them right now, Tara.
All right, thanks, Madison. And of course, we'll be checking in with you throughout the morning. Of course, stay safe.
It's 5 o'clock. Take some time to help your community. Learn more at hendrickcares.com.
Live at 5, Hurricane Florence is now a Category 1 hurricane. We're tracking the powerful storm. Crews are on standby to help thousands of people who have already lost power in North Carolina, and storm surges are a threat in New Bern, North Carolina. A TV news station was forced to evacuate while reporting on the storm. Good morning, I'm Rob Bovair, and thanks for joining us on this Friday, September 14th. It is time now to check in with meteorologist Casey Sherman and the Weather on the One's Forecast Center. You have had to skip and dance over the last couple of days there, Casey, trying to figure out the path of this storm.
With, now the eye wall of Florence making landfall. It has been weakening quite a bit now.
Hurricane Florence is just off the coast of Wilmington. The storm is expected to make landfall later this morning. Areas along the coast are already seeing serious flooding, and more than 280,000 people are already without power. Areas along the Neuse River saw heavy rains and winds overnight. And Spectrum News reporter Reuben Jones joins us now live from Kinston with the latest on conditions. And Reuben, I can see it's clearly windy out there. What sort of rain are you receiving? What sort of precipitation? What's the general condition right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, just in the past 30 seconds, we've got a very strong gust of wind here hitting the downtown area of Kinston in Lenore County. This is pretty much a ghost town because the power is completely out in the downtown area. I want to step back because we are actually behind a storefront. If you step back even a little more, the wind begins to pick up, and that is what they've been seeing throughout the night here in Kinston. We have seen some significant rainfall as well, although we've got a little break in the short little while here, but that is their big concern, is the rain, because of course this is on the Neuse River, which is very prone to flooding. We saw it during Hurricane Matthew. It's why they have emergency shelters set up in this county, 3 of them. I want to also let you know, because we have been monitoring throughout this week, we've been monitoring not only Kinston, we've been monitoring the coast, which includes Morehead City, Atlantic Beach, those areas obviously being hard hit. We had to leave there because frankly it just wasn't safe enough. We made our way a little bit more inland. If it becomes safe enough, of course, we will head back in there and show you the flooding that New Bern and other areas are seeing. We will bring that to you as we get, and of course keep you updated here on what happens in Kinston. Until then, I'm Ruben Jones reporting live in Lenoir County. Rob, back to you.
All right, thanks, Lee. We'll see you then. And as we talk about this future flooding, one area that has seen flooding since yesterday really is New Bern.
Yeah, many of those videos we showed earlier were from New Bern. And joining us now is Colleen Roberts, the Public Information Officer for the City of New Bern. Good morning, Colleen. First, just give us an update on how the City of New Bern is doing this morning.
Good morning. We have some good news to celebrate this morning. We do have heavily flooded roads, a lot of debris still left on the road, and still a 24-hour curfew. So we need folks to really stay home. But we've been able to overnight restore 15,000 utility customers with power. We have 7,000 more to go. Generally, the ones that are left are some of the more significantly damaged lines, which are going to take a little bit longer to repower. We have 3 teams working around the clock, in-house city teams working around the clock to complete rescues. Over 385 people at this point have been rescued, and we have about 100 still in queue.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. It just seems like if it's not one thing, it's the other right now.
And absolutely. And our Lenny Supal has been she was trying to get to Lumberton earlier. I believe she's in Robeson County and joins us now with some of the issues that they're dealing with. Lenny, what are you seeing now?
Good afternoon, Tim and Tara. We are in the small town of Red Springs, right by Lumberton, and normally at this hour it would be busy. We would see service maybe letting out at the Faith in God Ministries, maybe folks getting a bite to eat at the Dairy Ranch right after, but instead it is quiet, it is vacant, it is flooded. It looks like this throughout much of Robeson County, and also many people are left in the dark. We did see a caravan of utility crews making their way into Lumberton just before noon today, but many people, while they're holding on to hope, they are worried that they will have to start over once again.
It's bad.
Treacherous road conditions throughout Robeson County.
Well, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's God's work. I mean, that's all I can say. All I can do is pray.
Portions of I-95 were shut down as the Lumber River continues to rise, and the side roads also problematic. For Dale Lowry, she says it's a familiar sight.
Because when Matthew come by over there at my house, the whole road, a small pond on this side and a big pond on this side, every bit of it was washed out, and it stayed like that, what, 3 months?
Yeah. Just a few miles away, this bridge is underwater.
I've been here for 50-some years, and we've been on them for 3 or 4 years about getting this bridge fixed. We can't even go out a back door right now on account of water. I got a brother down there right now. It's all the way up to his doorstep.
You're landlocked. You can't go through.
No, we can't. We got 3 different ways to Red Springs right now. All 3 bridges is just about out.
And this just goes to show how dangerous those road conditions are. As you can see, the pavement cracking and crumbling as the rain continues. This is exactly why it is so important to stay away from flooded waters. And it doesn't stop there. Power lines, no match for the strong winds that blew through. Recovering from yet another catastrophic storm is taking a toll.
When I lay down at night, I pray. I pray for everybody, everybody.
And that That is what we're hearing time and time again. Continued calls for prayers at this time. We're also keeping a close watch on the Lumber River. The National Weather Service says that it is expected to reach 24 feet by this afternoon. And when that happens, it could flood into I-95. Much of I-95 shut down at this hour. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated on conditions throughout the day. We're live in Robeson County. Lenny Supal, Spectrum News.
Tropical Storm Florence is moving into the Charlotte area. Rain is starting to fall more steadily now, and winds are bringing down some trees and power lines. A tree fell on Fairview Drive last night. No one was hurt. Another tree came down in Myers Park and landed on a house, but there were also no reports of injuries. Across the state, the storm turned deadly yesterday. Among those killed, a mom and her baby girl. During a briefing yesterday, Governor Roy Cooper said several more storm-related deaths are being investigated and warned people to stay inside. Right now, there are more than 750,000 customers without power across the state. Governor Cooper has signed an executive order to speed up recovery efforts. He's also expected to give an update on Florence today. You can watch that here on Spectrum News at 11 a.m. And President Donald Trump says he plans to return to the Tar Heel state to tour the devastation. He's meeting with several city leaders and has assured the federal government's assistance should the state need it. Right now, we're going to head to Wilmington for the latest from the coast.
Good morning, guys. We are in Wilmington, North Carolina, one of the places hit hardest. And I can tell you, Hurricane Florence is still not done. It has not stopped raining since yesterday when we were out here at 3 a.m. and it just continued overnight. And we know that the winds and the rain is going to get even worse throughout the day. Now, we're standing in front of our hotel because there's a mandatory curfew until 7 a.m. this morning. And take a look at the reason why. We shot this video yesterday while we were driving around. Were able to get outside for a little bit, and every corner we took, you would just find massive trees down, and then you would find power lines, and you were continually turning around trying to find a new route, and it was just massive proportions of this damage and trees down in the streets. So that's something we're going to hopefully look at today. And we also want to try to see what's happening to Wrightsville Beach. That is where the eye landed. So we're going to try to see if we can get even close to the beach today. But there's definitely a lot more to come. Again, the rain hasn't stopped, and we know in the next couple of hours we're going to see even more winds. Reporting live in Wilmington, North Carolina, Lauren Verno, Spectrum News.
Areas farther inland are seeing serious flooding from Florence. Now we want to go live to Kinston, where Spectrum News reporter Reuben Jones joins us. Reuben.
Well, Tim, when we got to Kinston a couple days ago, we thought the Neuse River was pretty low. We didn't think it was going to flood. Fast forward less than 48 hours. Take a look at this. This is the Neuse River. It's really hard to put it in comparison just how big of a difference it is today from just 2 days ago. It's only a couple feet from where we are. It's why we're only going to be staying here for a few minutes before we get to some safer ground. This is concerning because it is at 13.5 feet, according to the National Weather Service. It is expected very shortly to get up to 21 feet, which would cause moderate flooding, and potentially over the next couple of days, it could get to record levels at 28 feet. The reason that's a problem is that not only is there a nature center that's just a little ways from here, but if you go a little bit further, there are a number of businesses and homes that are likely going to get flooded if the Neuse does in fact flood, which we expect that it will. This is a thing they're used to here in Kinston. Unfortunately, Hurricane Floyd, Hurricane Matthew flooded these businesses in the past. So they are just hoping that it's not going to be a similar situation. But by all accounts, according to the National Weather Service, it looks like the Neuse River is going to flood again, and it's going to come hard. I'm Reuben Jones reporting live in Kinston, North Carolina. Spectrum News. Tim, back to you.
All right, thanks, Reuben. Stay safe out there. We're getting a first look at some of the serious road issues along the coast. This is a photo posted on the Cape Lookout National Seashore Facebook page. Harker's Island Road completely crumbled. It's the only road that goes from the mainland over to Harker's Island, which is between the mainland and Cape Lookout. NCDOT is aware of the issue and hopes to send crews to work on the problem today. In Lumberton, neighbors are coming together to try to defend their town from flooding. A resident issued an all-call over social media for people to help city workers create a sandbag barrier under an overpass along Interstate 95. That area was identified as a problem spot during Hurricane Matthew 2 years ago. People helped fill sandbags and pile them up in the hopes they can keep some of the water out. Rivers and streams in the area are expected to reach major flood stage in the next few days.